Hey, people.
Here we are just a few months away from when we made our big announcement of President Barack Obama's new book, A Promised Land. He promised that he would come back and speak to our students, and it is such an honor to welcome him back here today.
It is wonderful to see all these amazing young students. I know the book I wrote was a thick, long book, and for you guys to take some time out to read, it's especially gratifying for me because part of the goal of the book is for young people to be able to read it and see that the path I took wasn't all that different from the path that many of you have a chance to take.
We have CPS High School civics students who have read your book. We're going to call upon those students, and then they're going to discuss the excerpt that they chose and pose a question to you, Mr. President.
So in chapter 12 of your book, you was talking about how there was no 100% solution to any of the problems you came across during your presidency. Were there any guidance you took in when you were making decisions? And were there any values you didn't stray away from? And how did you deal with knowing that not everyone will like your decisions?
It starts with values, right? It starts with what's important to you. During my presidencies, there were certain values that I wouldn't stray from. Also understanding that you're never going to get your decision perfect. And if it turns out I made the wrong decision, I'll make an adjustment and I will learn from it and I'll make a different decision the next time. So you can't be afraid of making decisions. Otherwise, somebody else is going to make a decision for you. When you're young, now's the time for you to make a bunch of decisions, understanding that not every decision you're going to make is going to be perfect. But that's part of the process of learning and understanding who you are and what you care about and how you want to live. Thank you for that great question.
No problem. Thank you.
I'm wondering about the section in your book when you write about how democracy is not a gift from on high, but rather the work of everyone. So what more can we do to take action and work towards a truly inclusive democracy?
The more we can create opportunities, I think, for people to practice democracy in the real world, not just during election time, but in community groups and church associations and various projects, to rebuild a neighborhood or what have you. The more you're getting out and interacting with different kinds of people and figuring out ways in which we can cooperate together, those create the good habits that underpin a democracy. Sometimes we think of democracy as just election time, but really what a democracy is all of us feeling like we got a stake and have a say in how things should go.
President Obama, it has been the highest pleasure to read your book regarding the future of America. You showcase that trials and tribulations only endure for a season and encourage us to take in the lessons we learned during difficult moments. This is paramount to us because the pandemic has impacted all of us in several ways. For example, the pandemic has separated me from a lot of close people that I depended on, such as friends and mentors. Losing these relationships has affected my mental health.
And for me, during this pandemic, I have had great and bad days, but more great days. I've coped through the pandemic with reading and working on my music. How has the pandemic affected you?
Before I answer the question, what kind of music you making?
R&B type of music.
Okay, all right. Well, I'll be on the lookout in terms of the pandemic. I think it really re-emphasized for me that ultimately family, friends, community, that's the stuff that makes for a full life.
What was your favorite thing about being president?
I think a lot of times the question really is like, all right, what are the perks of the office that you enjoyed most? We used to have these music series I write about in the book where we could get anybody to come. Beyonce and J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar. And that, I have to say, was a great privilege, is just being able to see people who are great at what they do.
That's awesome. If you could eat one food for the rest of your life, what would it be?
So in our family, we had a little contest with a bunch of kids and friends of ours about what is the best food. And we created brackets, like you do in the NCAA tournament. And we decided, based on this unscientific survey, that pizza was the best food. Because the theory is that you could put whatever you like on your pizza.
I was thinking you would say broccoli or something.
That's just a rumor.
All right, we got another question from a student off our Padlet, and this one is, she wants to know, if you were allowed to run for a third term, would you?
No, I wouldn't. I'm not somebody who believes in always wanting to be on stage and not making room for the next generation. The best thing I can do is now coach and give them opportunities and ideas and networks and connections so they can lead.
You just got to know, here in Chicago, in the Chi, we were all rooting for you and so proud of that dignity that you held the entire time you were in office. Dare I say, you come back when Volume 2 comes out and we do this again, guys? What do you think?
I'm so proud of you and so appreciative that we had a chance to spend a little bit of time together. Maybe we'll get a chance to meet in the same way that Michelle and I have a story to tell. You guys do too. Your story is just as precious and sacred and special. You're the author of your own life and your own story, and it has power. So don't sell yourself short.